Hey, welcome back, guys. Let me ask you a real quick question as I start this. First of all, give me a 5x5 if you can hear me and if you can hear system audio. This is system audio right here.
What?
Let me know if you can hear that. If you were an elitist who wanted to control the world and control the people in the world, would you want the peasants arguing and fighting, or would you want them cooperating and uniting? We're going to go over this video by Angela Rose. It's the Angela Rose channel. She's clearly MAGA, Make America Great Again. She's completely 100% in the tank for Donald Trump, just as the leftists are in the tank for whoever their person is. But I want to ask some serious questions here. And this might upset some people because I understand that people are heavily engaged and invested in the cult of personality. And they want to pick their guy over the other guy. We're going to talk about the No Kings rally, how many people showed up, what their aim was. Are they decentralized or a centralized organization? Who's controlling them? Does it matter how we go at these people? Does it matter how we talk to these people? Does it matter if you're a good person or bad person? Does it count being a good person or a bad person? What is a good person? What is a bad person? Is there a certain look? And what exactly are we trying to accomplish in this life when we attend these rallies and we talk to these people? We're going to look at it from Angela Rose's perspective and how she chooses to engage with the No Kings protesters. And then we're going to look at another guy who took a completely different way to handle these people. He's going to talk to them on their level, and he's going to try to find out what they think, what they believe, and then challenge those beliefs. Is it better to mock them and criticize them and make fun of them? Or would it be better to understand them and challenge them and hear what they have to say about the situation? Because we know that statists are statists, right? They just want their guy to rule. Angela wants her guy to rule. That's Trump. This person right here who's staring Angela down wants her guy to rule or her gal to rule. And the bottom line is, what the hell are we after? What are we doing? Does the culture need to change? If so, how does it need to change? What does it need to change to? Do we need more politicians? Do we need better politicians? Do we need more police officers? Do we need more military in our streets? Do we need to go after more illegals? Or should we focus our time and our attention, our energies on the people who are really causing the problems, the people with the deep bank accounts? So we're going to go over this, and some of you might not like what I say, and some of you might agree. But the bottom line is, I don't care if you agree or disagree. What is the right thing to do at this moment in time? Let's take a look at this. We're going to make some comments along the way. I may open it up for discussion with a link, and you guys can call in and tell me what you guys think, or I may just save that for the next video that I do later on today.
Go the away! Okay, so
By the way, I think this is in Colorado.
I just wanted to. Hey, don't push me. It's a little bit weird because there's already no kings in the U.S.
Yeah, no, that's great. We'd like to keep it that way.
Donald Trump's not a king.
Well, then you should stop acting like one.
How is he acting like a king?
I'm not interested in having this this debate, giving you any followers.
What?
Okay.
That right there is actually really dangerous. It's stupid for her to walk up to this girl like this, and it would be definitely within somebody's right to defend themselves. I don't know. You don't know what this person has in their pocket. They could have a knife. They could completely just stab you right there in the heart or the intestines or whatever, or punch you in the face. It's just a show of force and an attempt to intimidate somebody. It's ridiculous.
What?
Okay, let's not engage.
You want to kiss me? What?
Today, liberals have gathered in cities across the nation to celebrate the Trump administration and the many accomplishments. So we're going to walk around in some MAGA hats and see how people treat me today. Make sure you're subscribed.
By the way, I will be interrupting on this video. This is a commentary video. While the No Kings protesters are marching in the streets because they have probably a Democrat / leftist statist ideology, Angela's no different. She has a statist ideology as well. She wants her king. And when I say king, yeah, it's not a monarch, one person in control. But what does it matter if there's 535 in control, or a president and a vice president? What does it matter if you have a Congress, a Senate House? You have a few people controlling other people. Is that really what we want? This whole experiment in democracy is completely failed because it's resulted in one of the biggest, most well-funded, wasteful, and powerful governments that America or the history of the world has ever seen. Like Lysander Spooner said, whatever the Constitution may be, this thing is for certain. It's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's been powerless to stop it. In either case, it's unfit to exist. Think about it. We have a supreme law of the land. Part of the supreme law of the land includes the Second Amendment, which is shall not be infringed. You have the right to keep and bear arms, and that right shall not be infringed. How many laws do we have infringing on the rights of Americans to keep and bear arms? Obviously, it's just a mockery. What good is the Second Amendment if you can't walk in California with an AR-15 or a fully automatic rifle strapped to your back? That's not freedom in the land of the free. That is shall be infringed. And I don't care if you're talking about California or New York or Texas or wherever. Law enforcement agencies aren't going to allow you to walk into a store or walk down the street with a fully automatic rifle strapped to your back. Why? Because we have the national rifle ban from 1934. They banned fully automatic rifles. And so it's incumbent on law enforcers to enforce that law of the land, not to protect you and keep your right to keep and bear arms secure. It's to look at that 1934 ban and say, hey, you know what? That law said you can't have it, so I'm going to violate your Second Amendment rights, which says you can have it. I'm going to infringe on rights that the Second Amendment tells me I shouldn't infringe on. That's not the land of the free, home of the brave.
Need to grow up? That's assault, you dumbass!
Yeah, the assaulting this girl, no bueno, no bueno.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Hey, for yourself! Hey, look at this guy! Hey, why would you do that?
Donald Trump has got to go. You're a retard.
What up, fascists? This is what insanity looks like! This is what democracy looks like! I love how they didn't know what else to do, but besides say the chant back. So he hopes that I get my 15 minutes of fame. It looks like a lot of people are very inspired by the froggy costume. Lots of dinosaur outfits. People in Denver think we're in Portland, Oregon. I just hope they don't come out naked. I mean, at least people are getting fresh air. That's good. It kind of looks like everybody here is standing in a line that they don't know where it goes to. Trump 2028! Trump 2028! Yourself, yeah! The greatest president we have ever had! I love Trump!
All right.
Trump!
The greatest president we ever had. I love Trump. Let's just go ahead and talk about that for a second. You're talking about a president, an administration that's actively involved in covering up for one of the biggest blackmail pedophile organizations ever to be uncovered in human history. It's an active cover up by the DOJ, by the FBI Director Kash Patel, by Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and by the President of the United States. How can you possibly support anybody who's covering for a major pedo organization? How can you support somebody who's still pushing mRNA and is still willing to make deals with Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca for billions and billions of tax cattle dollars? Yeah, I mean, and people will clip this and they'll say, what are you, some kind of leftist libtard, Brian? What do you want? I mean, did you think it'd be better under Harris? It doesn't matter. It's two wings of the same bird of prey. If Harris became president, the Federal Reserve is still in control. Donald Trump becomes president, the Federal Reserve is still in control. When you have somebody that's determining the value and the amount of the currency in circulation, they're actually in control of your time and labor. That's what matters, Angela. And if I was an elitist, I don't know about you guys. Let me know if you agree with me on this. If I was an elitist, a Jeff Bezos, a Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk, George Soros, I would want the peasants fighting and disagreeing and arguing and being vile to each other. I don't want them cooperating and uniting. And so what I see here is, and I know she's young and hopefully she'll grow out of this, but I see this in young and old MAGA supporters. They're more than willing to go out at a Democrat protest, and that's what this is. This is a leftist, statist protest. Make no mistake about it. And they want to go and antagonize instead of have an honest debate. They say they follow Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's example. I've never seen Charlie Kirk antagonized like this. Have you? Maybe he has, and I just haven't seen it. But this isn't following that pattern. And most of these people, I know Angela Rose calls herself a Christian. What about pride goes before a destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall? With these 6 things the Lord hates, 7 are an abomination to him. The list starts with a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, heart that devises wicked schemes. God hates pride. Pride's go according to the Bible, and I'm not a Christian. I don't claim to be a Christian, but I know a proud look when I see it. I know antagonism when I see it. I know a failure to light brush fires of freedom in the minds of men when I see it. And I also know that if I was an elitist, I would want exactly this. That way I can get away with my financial crimes. I can get away with starting wars. I can get away with politics, which causes division.
Looks like he forgot to take his medicine today. It's okay.
If you want to vote against someone that's completely against your rights for you as a woman specifically, then that's on you. But you can't expect everyone else who lives in this country to side with that fucking piece of shit. Nazis, it's okay to punch them.
So what rights have been taken away from you because you're out here in the streets protesting what you might believe is a dictator, but here you are using your free speech and,
Well, if you like to say first,
do you still drive?
oh yes,
Yeah,
I
you-
try very so much. But however, I'm concerned with the lack of abortion access to health care. With other
Abortion is not healthcare, especially, and you cannot think that taxpayers do not want to pay for your
I
abortion.
was pregnant and I would not be allowed to get an abortion when I was 18. So you're telling me that as a survivor of assault, if I was
I'm
pregnant,
sorry that happened to
I would not
you.
be able to get an abortion. Not only that,
However,
Yeah, abortion is, I don't think abortion is healthcare. And also I don't think healthcare should be subsidized by the government. Whatever you believe about abortion, the government should not be part of that equation. They shouldn't be making laws against it. They shouldn't be making laws for it. Why? Because anytime you create a law, you have to fund that law. And how is that law funded? It's funded through extortion. When you ask the government to do something for you, make a law, make us more safe, even if it's a good thing. Feed the homeless. That sounds like a really good thing. Okay, how are we going to feed the homeless? The government can't give somebody food unless they first steal the resources from somebody else so they can buy the food. You don't want, either you're for theft or you're against theft. Either your moral code says it's right to kill or it's wrong to kill. Extortion is good or extortion is bad. It can't be good sometimes and bad sometimes. This is all about, we got to come back to and restore our moral compass. We have to come back to what is right, what is wrong, and is the government even legitimate? What is the government? Can we define what government is? It's practically speaking, it's just a small group of people who want to control and manipulate and coerce and threaten and extort other people for reasons. We want to build that bridge. Let's go extort them. We want to go to war with that nation. Let's lie to them and extort them, because truth is the first casualty in any war. You have to lie to the people to get them on board with supporting a war. Oh, we're doing this because they're taking our freedoms. We're doing this because they have weapons of mass destruction and we're keeping the world safe for democracy. And then you lie to the people and the people are like, oh, okay, well, you lied to us 20 times before. Maybe you're going to tell us the truth this time. Here's a whole bunch of money. Fund the military industrial complex. I'm sure they'll keep us safe this time. So when you're talking about, I don't care what issue you're talking about. I don't care if you're talking about illegal versus legal immigration. I don't care if you're talking about abortion, gun control, funding the military, keeping the government open. You're talking about the government doing something for you, and they can only do something for you if they steal resources from a whole bunch of other people and threaten them. And then there's murder involved and mayhem and behind the scenes espionage. So no, government should not be involved in abortion, not making it illegal, not making it legal. They shouldn't be involved in healthcare at all. There should be no, Bernie Sanders is like, we need Medicare for all. We need universal health care for all. We're way behind other developed nations who supply healthcare. Healthcare is not free. When you have free healthcare, it's not free. There are no free lunches. It costs somebody something. Their time and labor went into that. And the mediator between the haves and the have-nots are the government who goes, I think we'll give it to those people right now, and I think we'll cut it off from those people right now, but we're definitely going to steal from everybody so that we can accomplish our project. There's a gross misunderstanding of what's really going on the part of this leftist and on the part of this rightist, and we got to call it out. Thanks for that $5 super chat, Green Dragon. People need to have their eyes raised. Give me a shout out and check out my stuff. Thanks, Green Dragon. I appreciate it. Need that. What's the, I don't really use emojis. I don't know. Need to have their, it looks like eyes raised. I don't know. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Green Dragon.
It is not the child's fault.
Oh, but
It is its own separate being.
no, it's a clump of cells.
You weren't the same clump of cells that
You know what's crazy about this particular conversation right here? The leftist is going, I want the government to do this. And the rightist is going, no, I want the government to do this. The leftist is going, I don't want any kings. The rightist is going, there are no kings. This isn't a monarchy, but I like my Donald Trump to be in control of the rest of you. And this lady's going, she's like, yeah, but I want my Democrat to be in control of the rest of you.
you were when you were in your mom's uterus.
Well, the thing is, when
You changed into a different person. You're not the same anymore. It was someone else. It wasn't you.
I am
Who was she pregnant with then?
Oh, she was pregnant with a clump.
If Angela really cared about children, she would be against Trump. If she really cared about the children that were abused under Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail pedo crime ring, she would definitely be against Trump.
Clump of cells.
You're a clump of cells right now.
Yeah, all of us are a clump of cells.
Yeah,
that
so-
actually-
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right, Samurai Red. This is Kool-Aid drinkers versus Kool-Aid drinkers. No, my Kool-Aid is better than your Kool-Aid. My Jim Jones is better than your preacher. My cult is better than your cult. This is the cult of personality.
Respect life.
No.
Respect life. F Donald Trump. There are people who hate life so much that they're okay with trying to get rid of anybody who disagrees with them, like the president. Trump 2028. You're happy.
I'm pro-life. That's why I'm against Donald Trump. I mean, what did Donald Trump push back in 2020 before he left office? What was he pushing? Oh, these VAXXs are the greatest things. We were able to do in 9 months what people couldn't do in 10 years. We've got Pfizer making record profits. We've got a $6.2 trillion CARES stimulus package, most of which went to corporate elitists and the big pharma and the military industrial complex with a $4 trillion Federal Reserve backstop. That is not your friend. When you're distributing poisons out into the system and you're diluting the money supply, you're saying with your actions that you hate Americans. Period. The Democrats do the same thing. Williams says, if Trump was with us, he would say people stand together, locked and loaded. We have a border invasion. Be ready. We're an armed nation. He wants martial law. That's actually a good point. You want to stop illegal immigration, then drop every single gun law, number one. Number two, stop incentivizing border crossings because they're coming here because they're here to get free stuff, Obama phones, Medicare. They're not going to be held accountable for their actions. But step one is to empower Americans not to enforce the border, not to build a wall, steal a whole bunch of money so we can enforce the border and pay border patrol, steal a whole bunch of money from Americans so that we can protect Americans from being stolen from by the illegals. Hey, it's just we don't go for this competition. If anybody's going to steal from Americans, we're going to do the stealing. That's the deal with the government. They are there and they specialize in eliminating competition because nobody can steal from you like the government. Stop stealing. The government hates competition.
It's so close.
My hat.
Yeah, just the lettering is a little bit off.
I make America great again.
Yeah. Liberals are fascists.
Wait a second. I missed that.
President Trump 2028. Your hat is so close.
My hat.
Yeah, just the lettering is a little bit off.
I make America great again.
Yeah. Liberals are fascists. Liberals are fascists.
What do you think fascism means?
Believing that murder and violence is justified to shut down somebody else's opinions.
That's her definition of fascism? Wow. Interesting. I always wonder about the honesty of these videos right here. What good conversations and what good questions and critiques launch against Angela Rose were cut out? And I'm not endorsing Kyle Kulinski or Brian Tyler Cohen, but what if she ran into somebody who knew way more about what was going on than she did? See, she's going for the low-hanging fruit. And the reason she's doing that, I believe, I don't know, but I believe that she's antagonizing and she's provoking and she's mocking because that kind of stuff gets clicks and views because it's entertaining for people. And by the way, I'll read that in a second there, Green Dragon. But I want to show you something real quick first. Almost every single one of the comments under her video are for her. Way to go, girl. Protesting against non-existent kings is complete lunacy. I totally agree. Not a drop of fear detected. This woman, that's Angela Rose, is awesome. This lady should be protected by men at all costs. Thank you. Angela has officially come out of her shell. Gonna go down here. This girl is brave. Hope she stays safe. Wow, Angela went to the Million Karen March. They are kind of like Karens. Angela has more balls than liberal men. No soul in these people. None. They're brainwashed, but they are just as brainwashed as Angela Rose. Love it. She's got more balls than 99% of dudes today. And it does take a measure of courage to go out there. And you can tell by her shadow that she's out there alone. She doesn't have a cameraman. She's out there alone, just her and her camera against this sea of people, and she could seriously be hurt very, very easily. So it does take a measure of courage to do that, but it's disheartening that she has just as statist of a message as the people that she's criticizing and mocking. Green Dragon says, emojis are modern literary when it comes to online communication. Sorry for using it. No, it's no problem, man. I just don't use them. I will when I post a post on X, or I want to get somebody's attention and say there's a post below this, so I use the finger pointing down post. But I'm down with using emojis. I'm not savvy with emojis. Please check out what I have. Much love from Banner. Thanks, Green Dragon. Let's get back to that. By the way, I appreciate everybody who supports this channel. If you can't afford a super chat, if you can't afford to do a Cash App, please do not send me money. You need it for food. You need it for clothing, for shelter, for the electric bills that are going through the roof. The food's going through the roof, and electronics are going through the roof because we have these tariffs. Tariffs are taxes. Who are they taxes on? American corporations and American consumers. That's why you're seeing it. One of the big reasons we saw a big jump after 2020 and the inflation rate is because you can't not have inflation when you write and sign off on a $6.2 trillion CARES Act, you can 100% predict incoming inflation when you dilute the money supply like that.
Is fascism.
I don't know if that's what fascism is, and why do you think liberals don't believe that?
Why do you have the Nazi symbol drawn on your cheek?
It's an X through the Nazi symbol.
She's not even answering his question. Why do you think that leftists believe are fascist? Why do you think that, Angela?
But I feel it's
But
really
before
important.
the X, though, there was an amount of time where you had just the
It's
symbol.
really important these days to make it clear that we don't fuck Nazis.
Imagine drawing the Nazi symbol on your face.
Free America! End Zionism! That's what's really causing this. I loved Donald Trump, but I don't like Zionism and people taking our money.
What is Zionism?
It's a group of people. It isn't about rehoming people. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism anymore.
What do you think about Donald Trump's peace deal? And how?
No. Let's stay on Zionism. Zionism is a Jewish supremacy ideology that promotes the ethno-state based on the idea that the Jews are God's chosen people whose destiny is to rule Gentile nations, period. You will be the head, you will never be the tail, God says. Those who bless you, I will bless. Those who curse you, I will curse. It's basically a Jewish supremacy ideology based on religion. And that's dangerous. And that is a key component in who controls us. Zionists are currently controlling us, and they're controlling us for a very, very specific purpose. Am I saying all Jews? Didn't say that, not saying it. I know Jews who are not Zionists, who are vehemently against Zionism. But it's people who fund and approve of and applaud genocide. Think about it. The genocide is not going to stop in Gaza. I don't care what you think about this peace deal. The percent chance of this peace deal actually staying and bringing forth good fruit is less than 10%. Even the betting odds are way against this peace deal sticking. Sevenfold said, we're witnessing the dictator movie in real time. Trump has allegedly prevented 8 wars and will be presenting himself with the Nobel Peace Prize shortly. I totally agree, Sevenfold. Totally agree.
Oh, that's amazing.
Who were shouting
Thank God,
victory.
because now these people, maybe they're not, we don't see the bloodshed anymore, right?
I love it. So people are here to celebrate Donald Trump today.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh yeah, we have an undercover Trumper over here. When you tagged me, I thought you were going to stab me.
Can you imagine calling yourself a Trumper or an Obama or a Biden or a Harriser or a Harrisite? Imagine calling yourself by the last name of a politician of all people. It gets under my skin when somebody wears the number of a jersey for another dude. A man wearing the jersey of another dude just is freaky creepy to me. But to see somebody wear the name in a positive light of a politician is truly disturbing and shows you what kind of cognitive dissonance and mental disharmony we're actually dealing with here.
Right, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Thank you for not stabbing me.
I know. It's unfortunate that's what you think.
Yeah.
First thing you think of, huh?
But why are you hiding it though? You should be proud.
It's like you
should be proud. You should be proud. I have never encountered in all my life the frequency with which Christians proudly proclaim that they're proud. Pride goes before what, according to the Bible? Why would you ever want to be the thing that the Bible says leads you to destruction? And again, I'm not a Christian. I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies and hypocrisies of those people who call themselves Christians. And then they walk around complete with a proud look. It's just baffling to me. And they're completely oblivious to the fact that they are engaging in deep-seated hypocrisy. East Carbon says Mayor Orlando LaFonte was in the witness protection and was put in place by the criminal chief of police in city of, and Mayor Harry Goslin Jr., another mayor, quit. Hey, thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. I want to try to stay on this right here, though. I appreciate it, though. Green Dragon says my journalism is beyond understanding. I posted. I want to try to stay on this topic right here because I don't want to get diverted. It's super important to understand and point out that statism is statism no matter what side you're on, because you're actually saying, and let me just give the definition, the working definition, the practical definition of government. It is a group of people who believe they have the right to rule and rob the rest of us, and that you and I have the obligation to obey them and submit to their rule, or we should be punished in the eyes of the rulers. Angela Rose believes this. All the people marching in the No Kings protest believes this. So what fundamentally separates one from the other? You've got Kool-Aid drinkers mocking Kool-Aid drinkers. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't truly say that in a mocking tone, but there is a word picture that needs to be drawn here so that people can understand what's actually going on.
You're proud you want to say what you think, but you're afraid of getting,
I know.
for it. I like the hat, dog.
Thanks.
It's impressive. Yeah, I like it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for coming out.
Yeah.
Deport all illegals. Trump 2028.
Deport all illegals. Matthew Jordan says, I appreciate your work very much, man. I must admit that I fall into the left-right BS at times, and this channel helps center me. Benny Johnson sucks. But what causes Benny Johnson to suck is that he is such a bootlicker. I mean, talking about access, this guy's got access to the White House, just like Erica Kirk, just like Charlie Kirk did, just like Jack Posobiec. They have access to the White House. They have the red carpet treatment. These people can fly in Air Force One and Air Force Two. They're, invited to White House functions. If you ever find yourself invited to a White House function and befriended by a politician who calls himself and is called the ruler, the leader of the free world, the commander in chief of the military, which is the military industrial complex, you have taken a wrong turn in life. You have abandoned your morals. If you are seen with favor by the psychopaths of the White House or Congress or the Senate, you're not doing good. You're not being a good person. You're being a propagandist. You're being a yes man. You're doing what the current administration wants you to do and peddling the propaganda that's deceiving and blinding the eyes of the vast majority of people, but you cannot be doing good. I know the world looks at it different. They're like, if you're in the big club, you've arrived, man. If you're in the big club, you are participating in one of the most corrupt, evil systems this world has to offer. If you think I'm wrong, tell me you think I'm wrong in the room, and let me know why you think that.
Look at, she never worked a day in her life.
Look at all these people with their rights, able to live off of the government. What do you think about political violence? Is that
Let me go back to this.
their right?
This guy with the dog face. I mean, what has happened to society? What has happened, man? Yeah, I saw Fauci in the room. Not only did Trump didn't fire Fauci. Fauci's basically this legacy that goes from president to president. But not only did he not fire Fauci, he gave him a Medal of Honor at the end of his tenure. Anthony Fauci, the people that even MAGA is against. I mean, the person that even MAGA is against. I mean, in what world can you look at that and go, I still support that? He not only does he support Anthony Fauci, he rubs in. MAGA hates Fauci, but Donald Trump's going to rub MAGA's face in it by giving him a freaking medal. What the heck?
Able to live off of the government. What do you think about political violence? Is that good or is it bad?
No, it's bad, especially when it's done by people like Donald Trump.
But what about when the left does it?
It's bad when anybody kills people. It's not left versus right. It's right versus wrong, yeah?
It's good to be on the right side.
Yeah, it's good to be on the correct side.
The right side. They're saying no fashion.
See, I want to play that again. That is super important right there. That was actually a good little dialogue.
Of the government. What do you think about?
Wait, what did they say?
Look at all these people with their rights, able to live off of the government. What do you think?
Wow, this is crazy. Do you realize that Donald Trump just gave 20 plus 20 billion to Argentina. I know they say it's going to be privately funded. If the government tells you that this money that we are given to bail out Argentina is going to be privately funded, you can put all of your chips on black. It ain't going to be privately funded. It's going to be funded by the tax cattle. Dragon says David Icke was right. Don't believe me? Let me show you. Angela Rose is just as much for the government as the No Kings protesters are for the government while they claim to be marching against the king. They want a king so bad.
Think about political violence. Is that good or is it bad?
No, it's bad, especially when it's done.
How about politics is violence? Political violence, that's like saying airworthy airplanes. Of course it's airworthy. It's an airplane. That's like saying wet water. Of course it's wet. It's water, hot fire. Politics is violence. Political violence is a redundancy. Angela Rose doesn't understand this. Democrats don't understand this. That's why we're doing this video.
By people like Donald Trump.
But what about when the left does it?
It's bad when anybody kills people. It's not left versus right. It's right versus wrong, yeah?
It's good to be on the right side.
Yeah, it's good to be on the correct side.
She believes rightist statism is right. In other words, when we're talking about right and wrong, thanks, High Desert Biker. When we're talking about right and wrong, we are talking about good versus evil. Doing right is righteous. Doing wrong is evil. She's saying it's right to be on the right side of politics. It's right to be supporting and voting for my politician.
Right side. They're saying no fascists, no kings. These are not American things, and yet they're fascists. So they're totally anti-American. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Dressing like clowns, engaging in clownish behaviors.
Actually, I just
Insane.
wanted you to know that this isn't stolen land. It was bought for $15 million. So maybe your sign should say, shouldn't have sold it.
$15 million? That's crazy.
Yeah, shouldn't have sold it, right?
That's crazy.
Sometimes it's better to hang on to assets, right?
Stolen land, stolen land.
What makes you think it's stolen land?
Stolen. It was stolen.
I think all illegals should be deported back to their country.
And where are you going to deport Americans to? Please tell me.
Americans don't need to be deported.
Ate you up.
She ate me up. She eats everything. Go Trump.
Wow. What about the first genocide? The American Indians. What was the number? What was the number of American Indians that were slaughtered by the newly formed U.S. military? What's that number? I mean, can we talk about that genocide? Can we talk about that takeover?
Go Trump, Trump 2028. Go Trump, go Trump. I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump.
Fucking traitor.
I love Donald Trump.
How many subscribers does she have? She has 378,000 subscribers. Here's her channel stats. She averages 90,000, almost 100,000 views a day. And she gains, when she puts out a video from Man on the Street, which typically happens, she gains 1,000 to 3,000 subscribers a day. She's going to be a rising star. She's going to be one of these people like Candace Owens used to be, or some of these other conservative talking heads. She's going to be invited to the White House. And she'll have a place. She'll have a seat at the table. That's for sure. That's what happens to these people. Just like the Democrats. Like, this is Brian Tyler Cohen right here speaking at the No Kings protest in Los Angeles. They have a seat at the table. These people are welcomed by high-powered politicians.
Donald Trump.
Fucking traitor.
Liberals are fascists.
Fuck you.
Look at all of them exercising their rights to be outside, thinking that Donald Trump is a dictator. Grow up. Grow up. Grow up. They need to grow up. That's assault, you dumbass. May I have my hat back?
Yeah, that is assault. I mean, it is so wrong to put your hands on somebody else or take their property.
Absolutely. Yeah, can you go away? I respect that. I don't have to go away because these are American streets,
Agitator! Who paid you? Because we weren't paid. Who paid you?
Okay, so I'm an agitator for showing up with a MAGA hat, but the person who hits it off me is not an agitator. Look at all these fascists! Look at all these fascists!
We're just sorry that you're ignorant.
Look Look at all these fascists.
I know she's young, but this is super juvenile. Let me ask you guys in this room. I don't know how many people are in here. How many people? 461 on YouTube. Do you think this is constructive? How do we change the world? How do we unite? How do we cooperate? Do you think elitists would be for this or against it? Or is there some nuance in between that I'm not considering? Because it doesn't seem like this right here works in the favor of any Americans. It's going to work in favor of Angela Rose. She's going to get tons of views. I think this thing has 170, maybe 200,000 views on it already. Let me see. 170,000. It's got to have more than that. I bet if I refresh this, let's see. It's been stuck at 170,000. I bet she's got over 200,000, maybe 250,000 views on this. It's definitely, it's going to work in her favor, but I don't see how that's going to work long-term positively for Americans.
Okay, fascists. I am saying no to fascism. That's why I'm here protesting you guys.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Oops, sorry about that. Short term, this is really going to benefit her, but at what cost? We're losing, guys, we're losing everything. AI is taking over. AI data centers are popping up all over the place, sucking electricity and water from Americans, and their electric and water bills are going up to subsidize these AI data centers. That's just one example. The tariffs are destroying us. The food prices are through the roof. There are people on fixed incomes who are having to do without because they can't afford to live. The cost of living has gotten so high because of government intervention, because of Biden's policies, because of Donald Trump's policies. But guys, these are policies, these are fiscal policies that are approved by the true owners of the company, and that's the company. It is a company. What does it say? I'll bring it up. It's titled, I haven't looked at it in a while. Title 28, Section 300215A, the United States is a federal corporation. We'll bring that up in a second here. But she is basically defending a corporate entity called the United States and a corporate figurehead, which is called Donald Trump. And she's sidestepping the fact of, or maybe she's completely ignorant of the fact that the RNC and the DNC are corporate entities owned by corporate elitists. And when they put their person forward, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, these are basically just CEO figureheads for the corporation who's going to wreck American lives so that they can profit and so that they can gain power. And that's what this is all about. It's a power and wealth grab delivered by the hands of politicians. And it's not even so much the politicians who are in control of Washington, D.C. It's the special interest groups and the lobbyists in Washington, D.C. that control and pad the pockets of the politicians who enrich themselves in their arrogance at the expense of Americans that they're supposed to be representing. Every one of them does it because every one of them plays in this political nightmarish game as though it were something legitimate. Butch says, in 1600, there were 4.5 million natives. In 2021, 1 million Trail of Tears. I think the genocide for Native Americans was really, really high. I can't remember the exact number.
Donald Trump has got to go.
Hey, ho, ho, ho. Hey, ho, ho, ho. Use your brain. Use your brain. See it for yourself. Hey, hey. Why would you do that?
Donald Trump has got to go. You're a retard.
I told you these guys are fascists.
I must have somehow rewound or something.
That's the second time my hat has been knocked off. Say no to fascism. Say no to liberals. Woo! I do want my hat back, though. Look at all these people who are so peaceful. Look at all these sheep hurting themselves. What a pleasure it is to walk against this crowd. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
She's actually physically walking against the crowd, but ideologically, she's walking in the exact same direction. I want my slavery. I want to stay on the plantation. I want to be ruled by political psychopathic overlords.
They think that they should kill Donald Trump, and they think that that makes them good and kind people. It's really funny. And then they just point and laugh at me as if I really care. I love ICE! I love ICE! Deport all illegals! Deport them
I love standing armies. I love standing armies. She might as well say that.
all! Deport them all! Make liberals sane again! Help them think for themselves! This is what democracy looks like! The United States is not a democracy!
This is what democracy looks like.
Then go somewhere else. If you hate America, leave!
This is what democracy looks like.
A fascist? I don't think so. If you hate it, leave! If you hate it, leave! What country do you think would be better than the greatest country in the world, America?
No, I agree. I agree. This is sick. This is sick, man. When I saw this last night, it came up in my news feed for some reason when I saw it, and I watched the whole thing. And I'm just thinking, wow, no people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued. When knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. She is not diffusing knowledge, and she is not preserving virtue, in my opinion. Does anybody agree in the comment section? If you disagree, let me know. I mean, I'm not, I want to hear, I want to have the right mindset. I want to deliver the right mindset and diffuse knowledge with kindness and as much respect as I can muster. Yeah, these people aren't respectable, but neither is Angela Rose. But I would still want to sit down and have a decent, calm discussion with them for the purpose of planting brush fires of freedom in their minds, or them planting a brush fire of freedom in my mind. Because the only way we can fight against what's going on right now is to unite. But you got to unite in truth. You got to unite on the plane of morality, and anything that's immoral has to be vehemently and consistently rejected. Period. That's not what Angela Rose is doing here. She is operating off of a springboard of politics, rightist politics, and statism, and they're operating on the foundation and springboard of leftist statism. It's a mess.
I should be ashamed. Oh, why is that? Tell me.
You should be ashamed
Why?
of yourself. Why?
I can't even imagine. I'm 58. Angela Rose is probably early 20s. Could you imagine talking to your elders like that? I don't care if they're okay. She's a loon. Okay, she's probably a loon. She's got frog eyes on her head. She's probably a leftist. But can you imagine talking to your elders in a condescending, derogatory, and arrogant tone like that?
Because what Trump is doing to everyday Americans is illegal and it's unconscionable. He is unchristian as anyone could ever be.
You support abortion, and yet you think that I'm not a Christian because I
Trump get an abortion and Trump pay for an abortion.
What up, fascists? How are you fascists doing today? Huh? We love America! We protect the Constitution! They think loving America means assassinating a president.
Okay, so what's the answer? What's the answer, Stoney? Be like them? Let's lower ourselves to them. How about be the standard in your generation, though, man? I don't care. Okay, I've dealt with assholes, but you know what? There's a way you can deal with assholes and walk away from the conversation with your integrity intact. It's about integrity, the wholeness of the individual. It's about being a good person. It's not about who that person is. It's about who you are and how you respond and how you act. Not because you read words on a page called a holy book or a Bible or a Quran, but because that's the kind of person you are. Well, the only reason I'm going to treat you with kindness is because the Bible says no. How about you treat people with kindness because that's what's flowing out of you, because that's who you actually are. Not even so much what you were taught in life. Take credit and responsibility for who you are as a person and how you operate and how it's like, okay, I can see that this person might be hurting. This person might be extremely insecure. This person might be an asshole. This person might be a jerk. Now, I'm not saying that in the land of if they try to hurt you, you don't defend yourself. You're absolutely going to defend at all costs yourself and your family, primarily yourself first, because if you get taken out, then your family gets taken down. So you're the barrier in between your family. You have a big responsibility to defend yourself and your family. But I'm talking about on the plane of somebody being a jerk. Have you ever encountered somebody who is just unreasonable, unconscionably evil, is just an asshole, but you kind of brought him down off of that? And you were able to just somehow, just for a moment in time, just plant a seed of kindness and charity and goodwill and knowledge into them. And then when you walk away and then you visit them again, they kind of simmer down.
Look at all these sheep.
It's always going to be way easier to detonate and burn down a bridge than it ever will be to build a bridge. I'll tell you that.
You guys should dress up like sheep. Dress up like sheep.
He's speaking the truth to these liars. What truth is in covering for a blackmail pedo ring? What truth is in giving $40 billion to Argentina? What truth and what righteousness and what nobility is there in patting Andrew Borla on the back and giving him billions of tax cattle dollars so that they can make more potions to put into the circulatory systems of Americans? What truth is that? To be pro Donald Trump is to be Israel first. Miriam Adelson controls the United States more than Donald Trump controls the United States. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about, I like take the guns first, due process second? Not even Obama or Biden said that.
Eat the rich. Huh? Eat the rich.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
You look pretty rich to me. You look like you have plenty to eat.
You're gonna insult me like that? Go fuck yourself. Eat shit.
I like how his insult was telling me to eat something.
So did you see that? So she insulted him, low resonating, low frequency, bad vibes. He gets offended. He comes down. So he's down here. She goes below him, and then he goes below her. Where's the benefit? Where's the benefit of society? Where's the benefit for society? Where's the positivity in that? Where's the righteousness in that? I mean, seriously, people wear these bands all the time. What would Jesus do? Would Jesus do that? Because I'm thinking the things that I know about what I read about scripture, you know, the Isaiah 53, the foreshadowing of him coming, and then the gospels, and then the, Paul's letters, the Jesus I know wouldn't do that. Would he?
I mean, just look at how stupid some of these signs are.
Somos la voz de los que no pueden gritar hoy.
They have a voice, right? They can speak for themselves. Tú no tienes que hacerlo. How come you think people in Latin America don't have a voice? Milei has a voice.
Milei. We're bailing out Milei right now. What's he doing with his voice? The so-called libertarian from Argentina.
He just met with the president. It's a pretty strong voice, right?
I mean, didn't you give up trick-or-treating in like the 3rd grade?
Just, I wanted to make sure that if your guy decided to call the National Guard, I didn't want them to be...
I hope he does. I hope he does.
Yeah.
Denver is filled with homeless and quite a bit of illegals too. See, they're shouting.
What is she saying? Is she saying get rid of the homeless in Denver? Where are you going to put them?
To kill.
A lot of reasons. There are some homeless who just want to be homeless. There's nothing you can do about that. But there's a lot of people right now living in their cars, living out in the streets because they can't afford food. They can't afford the cost of living. They can't afford insurance. They can't afford medical treatment. And one of the reasons they can't afford it is because the dollar keeps getting devalued. Brian, how does the dollar keep getting devalued? Well, the dollar keeps getting devalued because the puppet politicians who work for the Federal Reserve continue to make the policies that cause the dollar to be devalued. And when you devalue dollars, you need more of these dollars to buy less and less things, which means you need to spend more of your time and laboring energies to accumulate these dollars so that you can buy less and less food, afford less and less housing, afford no electricity. There are people who are turning, their electricity way down during the day because they just can't afford the bill at the end of the month. There's a lot of people who are homeless because of the policies of Biden, Obama, Bush, the warmongering tactics of all the other presidents, the policies of Donald Trump. It's no different. It's second verse, same as the first. And that people like this can't see this. And we are 250 years down the road in this American experiment, and we haven't changed course yet, just shows you how insane we actually are.
Trump right now. Trump 2028. Trump 2028. Trump 2028. Trump 2028. Trump 20.
To American people.
Trump 2028. Okay, I've gotten hit like 5 times today. That lady just hit me with her sign. They think that violence is justified. Look at all these people who want to hit me with the sign. Go Trump! He's making our country safe again. He's supporting the illegals.
I'm not calling her a bimbo, but I am going to call her what she is. She's a statist. She believes that it's legitimate for a small group of people to rule and rob the rest of us. And she wants her ruler to shake us down, just like the people in the No Kings rally want their ruler to shake us down. And the answer is we don't need anybody to shake us down. We need free markets. We need a sound money system, and we need to produce our own energy here in America. But it has to happen through voluntary mutual cooperation and association, not through coercion, theft, force, and violence. I just think to a large degree, I try to cut people slack because I don't have all the answers. I try to cut people slack because I make mistakes and I, make the wrong decisions or say the wrong things sometimes. But I'm cutting her slack, assuming she's just ignorant. I'm not saying stupid. I'm saying ignorant. Maybe she doesn't know about the ideals of voluntarism. Because there's only 2 things. There's only statism or voluntarism. Statism is we get our way and we get it by force. And voluntarism is, hey, I want that candy bar. And the guy with the candy bar goes, you can have it. Just give me $2. And you're like, well, I want the candy bar more than I want my $2. And the guy's going, I want the $2 more than I want my candy bar. And there you go. A mutually consensual business transaction between adults. And it should be like that for anything. Hey, I want that firearm. I want that personal protection device. Well, okay, I'll sell it to you. No intermediary. There's no deception involved. State your price and I'll be willing to pay for it or not, or I'll just walk away. It goes for anything, even burning plant matter or that white powdery substance or whatever you want to put in your body. The government should not be involved in any of that, regulating it, controlling it, telling you can't have it.
I love it. I love it. Don't touch my camera. Don't touch my camera. Look at this girl who wants to hit my camera and then hide her face. Ho, ho. Hey, ho, ho, ho. Hey, ho, ho, ho. Okay, how many original thoughts do you have?
I have a lot, actually.
Okay.
Actually, if you did any research, you would know that on
Angela Rose is literally talking to people like they're not even human beings. Like she is a perfect supreme being, and I will talk to you however, I will disrespect you however I want to. I have no, like, if you had a message of freedom, wouldn't you want to share it so that that person can be free and person can be free and that person can espouse freedom, and then you all join together and unite against people who don't want freedom, who want to take freedom away, who want to force you away from your rights, who want to violate you, who want to steal from you?
Documented immigrants actually pay $9.67 billion.
It's really unfortunate that they're not supporting their countries, right? Imagine that money, that tax money going to their country.
The left is violent, but the right is violent as well. What is the Patriot Act? The Patriot Act was formed back in 2001 after this 9/11 thing. They already had it waiting in the wings. because it's the problem reaction solution. They created a co-opted a problem, waited for the fear-based reaction. Government, please save us. And they stepped in to provide the pre-planned solution of this is the Patriot Act. Nothing could have been more unpatriotic. It set up the surveillance police state. They were tapping our phones. They were logging onto the internet. They were gathering our data, and all to keep us safe. And then they instituted the Department of Homeland Security with an offshoot of the TSA, and then the $10 billion a year TSA with the $70 billion Department of Homeland Security shook the rest of us down, set up security theater in airports all across the nation, and for 20-something years has trained Americans, you got to take off your belt. You got to take off your shoes, take the laptop out of your bag, put it in the tray. Don't have more than 3 ounces. You got to take those shoes off right there. You got to go past this checkpoint. So they subjected us to the radiation and molestation practices of the blue shirts, which they used to be brown shirts. Now they're blue shirts. And now the frog boiling in the water doesn't even know he's boiling, doesn't even know that he is long dead. So the left is violent because politics is violent. The right is violent because politics is violent. Where's the right violent, Brian? They want Donald Trump to steal your time and laboring energies by force. That's violence. You might not see it like BLM riots in the street where they're taking hammers and taking ATM machines out of the wall and throwing money all over the place, or breaking windows, or flipping cars, or burning tires, or launching Molotov cocktails. But violence is violence no matter how you look at it. Leftist political violence is the same as rightist political violence. It's just that one looks a little bit more reasonable, and it happens to be more deceptive.
To make their countries great so that they wouldn't have to immigrate here. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. If you see an opportunity to make your life better, you should go for it.
People don't you think coming to the United States illegally doesn't make their lives better?
Yes,
it makes their life
actually,
worse.
and
because
actually,
a lot of them get separated. A lot of them die on the way here.
If you don't want to have a conversation, I don't want to fucking talk to you.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
No, she's psychotic.
And there you go. I don't even know how you can expect that conversation to go any other way when you have massive disrespect on both sides, making the world worse.
She says that I'm psychotic because I believe it's dangerous. That was really creepy. It was kind of like I'm in like a haunting. You guys do look like a bunch of clowns. Don't touch my hat. Don't touch my hat.
Sounds like he's dressed like one. Are you also dressed like one?
No, I'm not. But you're wearing a mask, so you are.
Yeah, I don't really want to get sick because it's like get sick.
Get sick out in the open air?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get sick. Oh no, oh my gosh. Donald Trump is the president, oh my gosh.
What the fuck does Donald Trump have to do with being sick?
No, that's why you're here today. You're like freaking out. Like, it's ridiculous. You know that Donald Trump is making the country great? There's no reason for you to be freaking out.
I'm not freaking
What
out.
does your sign say? Defend our rights. None of your rights are at risk, sweetie.
No, I don't think we've passed the Rubicon on that. I've been out on the streets and I've had rational discussions with people who are vehemently against me. When we went in 2018, when we went to the, I call it the March Against Our Rights. They call it March for Our Lives. But I had a lot of really, really good interactions with a whole lot of people, and recorded the good interactions and the bad interactions that we had. But the bottom line is I approached them with a heart that's willing to listen to what they have to say. I mean, truly willing to listen, not because I'm following the example of Charlie Kirk, or I'm following the example of Jesus or something. I want to know where these people are coming from and where they're getting these slogans that they're chanting into the air. Don't you really want to know why people think the way they do? You know what? I wasn't going to do this. I just now thought about it. Let me see. What channel do I have that on? Yeah, let me show you this. We'll watch some of this, and you let me know if you want to watch any more of it. But these people I was talking to people who want to take my guns. I was talking to people who endorsed the government forcefully coming into my house, holding me hostage, and stealing my guns. These are the people that I was talking to. But I'm not holding myself up as anything great. But I just feel like I'm putting this out here as an example of, if you're willing to listen to somebody, listen to what they have to say, challenge what they're saying, and then ask them questions that they may not have ever thought about, I think you can make advances, or at least plant a seed that may or may not one day germinate in the future. And they can think about, wow, I was just hit like this, in kind of a kind and respectful way, about my hypocrisy that I didn't even know was there until we had this conversation. Here, let me just give you a small snippet of this, and you put a 1 in the room if you want to hear more of it.
In fact, I will say repeal the Second Amendment.
Do you trust? By the way, this is 2018, Washington, D.C., in the streets. Me and Trish were there to give some interviews to the March Against Our Rights, March for Our Lives crowd, who was there to take away all American guns.
In fact, I will say repeal the Second Amendment.
Do you trust the government?
No.
The government can't be trusted. Who's left to control the guns?
Don't!
And she got stuck. She got stuck on will not load. Legitimately, she got stuck. And there's more footage of this later. But so this is 2018. So she is she's marching through the street going, no guns. We need to take guns, gun control, gun bans. Do you trust government? No, it's Trump's government. No, I don't trust the government. Okay, so if you don't trust the government, then who exactly are you saying you want to take the guns? Because you're marching in the street, you have a sign, you're obviously very passionate about what you're talking about. Who do you want taking the guns if you don't trust the government? Who's going to be the gun taker? And if they take our guns, then a government that you don't trust is going to have all the guns, which means we who once had the guns are now powerless against the people in government that you don't trust. They're not even, I'm convinced that most people aren't thinking this through. They're just like robots walking through the streets because they heard something from somebody and there's this organization, and go ahead and make a sign, no kings. They have no idea what they're doing out there. Most people are marching in ignorance. So put a 1 in the room if you want me to go over more of that, but I want to finish this Angela Rose thing. By the way, this guy right here, I did not know it when I interviewed him. This is, what was his name? Sam, what's anybody know in the room what this guy's name is? Sam Benton or something like that. He was an appointee. He ended up being an appointee by Joe Biden himself as an assistant to the energy secretary or something like that. And then he got nabbed for, it's Sam something. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, if you guys can think of the name, but anyway, he ended up being in Joe Biden's cabinet like a couple years later. Yeah. He stole luggage at an airport. It was just crazy stuff.
Go the fuck away! Okay, Trunchbull. Okay, Trunchbull. Okay, Trunchbull. Okay, Trunchbull. Make me eat some.
Can somebody tell me what Trunchbull is? What does that mean? I don't even know what that is. It's going to bother me, that guy's last name.
USA! USA!
Wow, this is just a crowd of lovely, kind people. This lady's hitting me with her sign too because she's so loving.
You're so desperate for attention. You spend your free time doing this. You spend your Saturday doing this for fun. That's really pathetic.
Are we great yet?
There's people. People are smacking my camera, trying to steal my camera.
Democracy looks like. What democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
If this is what democracy looks like, I don't want it. I don't want it. That guy tried to hit my camera. This is what insanity.
Sam Brenton, the person arrested and accused of stealing luggage, was Sam Brenton, a former Department of Energy official. He was the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition at the Office of Nuclear Energy from June to December 2022, appointed by Biden.
Looks like.
Wow. You support Antifa in Portland? Hey ho ho ho. Hey hey ho ho. This lady. Okay. I just wanted to fuck off. Hey, don't push me.
Wow.
They're so brave when they're surrounded by their mob. Hit me, push me.
God, I can't even imagine putting my hands on somebody in the street and pushing them away when they're not threatening me. Especially, somebody of the opposite side, putting your hand on another woman just is crazy to me.
Probably. We're singing our songs. You guys are around a bunch of losers. You don't want to be like them. This is America. You have so many opportunities. This is ridiculous. There's not one reason to bitch. Not one. It's a choice. It's a choice. You can spend your life with gratitude, or you can spend it bitching. You can be a consumer instead of producing, and then be mad at the producers like...
Stick around. This is almost over, Dragon. Stick around because you're going to like the next thing, I think.
Trump and Elon. Hey, hey, ho, ho. What up, fascists? Fascists? And I just wanted to clarify that when I was saying liberals are fascists, I meant to say leftists are fascists. I think that's more accurate. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
All right, so that was Angela Rose. Let me know what you think of her, but I wanted to show you this next thing right here. This is Derek Bros. This is how Derek Bros chose to approach the No Kings rally. Okay, so let me see what you guys think. I think she's annoying. She's an agitator and pathetic. She's abrasive. And she's only brave herself when she can count on police to come and save her. Yeah, I don't know if I would trust that because, the cops are always going to come after the fact. Thanks, Christopher. Yeah, don't forget to hit like. It really does help. Leftist or fascist? Well, if you boil fascism down to its basic essence, it's just like with socialism and communism. You don't have to memorize like the exact political spectrum things are on. Is it authoritarianism? Are they trying to control you against your will in any way, shape, or form? And if they are, it doesn't matter if the person who's got the boot that's trying to stomp on your skull is a fascist, a communist, a Marxist, a socialist, a corporatist. It's still a boot crushing your skull. So what does it matter what the exact definition is? So with that definition in mind, the leftists are just as authoritarian as the rightists. It's not two political parties. It's a uniparty masquerading as two. She's cool. I totally disagree. If that's cool, I don't want to hang around people like that. She's obnoxious. Of course she has the right to be. That's not the issue. It's not the issue. Let's see. She sounds like Mean Girls on Charlie Brown. She doesn't know what fascism even means. Not the strict definition of fascism. I'm sick of her nauseating voice. Let's go over to Derek Bros. He's at a No Kings rally in, let's see, where was this? Houston, Texas.
So the main one I'm flying is the no step on Snail, because I agree with the messaging of don't tread on me, but the people who normally fly it kind of suck. Okay. And then this is the One Piece flag. What is it called? It's the Jolly Roger of the Straw Hats from One Piece. And kind of spoilers, but the main character is like the warrior of liberation. And then to me, it means resistance. It means fighting back against an oppressive government. And then here we have We Are the Resistance. Big Star Wars fan, but a lot of people seem to have missed the plot. I have one more, but I'm not going to fly that one.
People think the Empire's the good guys.
Yeah, no, I really blame the prequels because they made Anakin too cool.
So what are your main concerns like today? What brings you here? Like any
lot.
Specific policies?
So mostly the crackdown on the free speech is what I really do not like from this. Like Trump is becoming everything that the right tried to pretend Democrats were with cancel culture. I wasn't a fan of cancel culture too much, but you know, it was never the government. It was never the president calling up news agencies and saying, hey, take them off the air. Like that is actual First Amendment violations versus someone getting fired for saying something racist or whatever.
You mentioned mentioned people who usually fly the "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Yeah.
Which would probably be like, more conservative, right-leaning people.
Yeah, it tends to be right-leaning conservatives.
What do you think that they get wrong, or that they're like, where's their hypocrisy right now?
So they believe in liberty, but just for themselves. Like, they don't. It's free speech for me and not for thee, and that's what I don't like. Like the same people that were sitting there joking about George Floyd and flying this flag and saying, "Oh, I got free speech," are like, "Oh, you can't joke about Charlie Kirk or whatever." It's like, no, we have free speech.
So they're critical of whenever they think like the Democrats or the left are doing cancel culture, but then
they do it themselves even worse. And like even like the big thing was like the cancel culture from the left was never actual government stepping in.
I agree with that, Roosevelt. Roosevelt said a true patriot would be encouraging a peaceful protests and might try to see where they can agree on some of the complaints about the government. I agree with that. That'd be a great starting point. Why not?
And taking people off the air or threatening to revoke licensing, like that is insane. It's just incredible. Not to mention the fact that like at this rate, I don't even know what the percentages are, but it's like majority, like every position he can is being stuffed with a MAGA like drone basically, which is just, that's also terrifying because it's like with the gerrymandering of Texas.
Leftists have you heard of Rupert Murdoch and the influence Fox News has? And they're usually on the top of the ratings by far than any leftist media outlet. But it doesn't matter because leftist media and rightist media lead the cattle through the same chute. And it's the same destination. It's totalitarianism.
This was something I did not like.
Do you think voting will fix any of the problems we're facing?
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, like, so do you think voting for the other side is part of the solution?
I'm not a fan of the two-party system in general. It's kind of like two wings of the same bird, you know?
Okay, now keep that in mind that he said that. And he is totally right about this. But he still leans left and would support Democrats and Democrat policies. William, thanks for that $5. You're correct on everything, man. I live with unbiased truth, facts, logic, and honesty when you can easily spot the deception and it's everywhere. I totally agree.
Like,
I agree.
Fly the yellow. Like, for example, I've never voted blue, never voted red. I've voted yellow. I only voted once, but I like to joke. I voted for Joe, but not Biden. I voted for Joe Jorgensen. And she supported a lot. I didn't agree with everything.
Sure, but she was a different option.
It was a different option, and the majority of what she said I thought was really good stuff. Like she wanted to reduce crackdowns on marijuana, reduce a lot of restrictions that are on individual freedom. She had some stuff like the libertarian corporate taxes as well, but in general, she was going to across the board increase individual liberty, I think.
So then let me reframe the question. Do you think voting for one of the two parties is the answer?
I think it might help, but...
See, to be consistent, though, if it's two wings of the same bird of prey and that vulture is constantly circling us to pilfer from us and threaten us and force us into submission, then it won't help at all because they're owned by the same people.
I don't know.
Because you seem like to be aware that the left is capable of censorship and cancel culture, just like the right.
See, and that's the thing, is I wasn't a fan of Democrats at all back in like 2016. I was like, oh, they shouldn't be telling me what to say or what to do. And now I'm here protesting Trump. I didn't go to protests over Democrats, you know? Like, it's just...
What did you think? One last question, I'll let you go.
See, even though he's on the right track with the two wings of the same bird of prey concept, people are so indoctrinated and statism is so ingrained. It's almost like in our DNA. Even when we mentally assent to it, we cannot bring ourselves to not make some kind of distinguishing comment about it to the point where it's like, well, no, but I lean right and I feel like society's going to be better if we do this, even though I know there's no difference. I want to keep telling myself that there's a difference when there isn't a difference.
What did you think about, so I came here in June too, and I interviewed people just to get the perspectives and share it through my channel. And some people who follow me.
Yes, New Kingdom. Yes. At least these two are talking like normal people, like rational individuals who seem to be like respecting each other's presence. There's no repulsion. There's no mocking. There's no arrogance.
Would be the kind of people who would be here. Others would be the kind of people who would be Trump supporters for whatever reason. And one of the things I see online is some people say, well, I hear their points, but where were they during COVID, whenever Democrats were supporting mandates for vaccines or censoring?
That's different though. So I'm very pro.
Do you support that, or?
I'm very pro liberty, but also I like to call what I like. What was the word I like to use? Shit. It's ethical liberty, right? Like, I believe in as much freedom as possible, but some people look at as much freedom as possible as like, oh, I can own slaves. And no, you're infringing on someone else's freedom. And I see vaccines in the same way. You have freedom to do many things, but whenever your freedom can kill people, like for example, I'm pro-guns, but I am okay with gun control and restricting access and stuff like that. Like, I think there should be more gun control on, there's a lot of people that have a million.
See, gun control is euphemistic. It's euphemistic terminology. Gun control is people control. You're not trying to control inanimate objects. You're trying to control people. You're trying to tell people what they can and can't have. So when you ban an inanimate object, you're actually criminalizing the person who wants to possess that object through free market. So he's very inconsistent in his thoughts. And he, I think, unwittingly shows his hypocritical cards, because on the one hand, he says it's two wings of the same bird of prey. But if I vote this way, it could probably have some positive effect. And I don't trust government, but I do believe that we should have gun control. That's what statism does to people's brains. That's why it's so important to have these conversations.
In red flag.
And not be a terrible person while you're spreading the message.
Like mental illness.
Because you can have the right message, but you can be the most terrible person. Nobody wants any part of that message.
Illnesses, arrests for violence, stuff like that. But if they don't get to a felony level, then,
Worst cases, like, so for example, in Australia, Germany, parts of the UK, Canada, they had quarantine centers where people were literally forcibly held for a PCR test.
Yeah.
And as a journalist, I made a mini documentary on the PCR test during COVID. It is prone for false positives.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that idea that the government could lock people up based on a test that could produce false positive and on a pandemic that had a 98% survival rate?
I'm not super happy with the lockdowns and stuff like that, but also my solution at the time for COVID was they're saying it was like a 2 or 3 week.
Yeah, but see, here's the slippery slope in that fast. He says gun control goes against the Constitution. Everyone knows this, but it's just an amendment. An amendment implies that it can be amended down the road. It's like, oh, we've grown past that. We can totally infringe now. Let's make the 30, whatever they're going to be at that time. Let's make the 29th or 31st Amendment an addendum to the Second Amendment. It doesn't matter if the gun control goes against the Constitution. It goes against your right to live and to be left alone. And it's not even so much that you have rights. It's that nobody has the right to keep you from keeping and bearing arms. Nobody has the right to keep you from a personal protection device. And if they have that right, where did they get it? And how come the rest of us don't have it? It's more like you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not harming somebody, threatening to harm them, damaging their property, or stealing their property, period.
Period of gestation and sickness and all that before it's gone. And I was like, okay, if we could just shut down the country for like 2 weeks straight and no one goes outside, period, we can get rid of this.
So 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, at least just flatten
that turned into, like in China, a zero COVID policy where people were literally welded in their homes for years at a time. I don't know if you're familiar with some of the policies.
So he's willing to give the government some leeway in some of these things, even though he knows that you can't trust the government, but he's still going to give it to him anyway. And it's a power that the government or the psychos in government will always abuse 100% of the time.
So like in the worst cases, we definitely saw some medical authoritarianism, even if, like, I hear you arguing about, like, well, if you're a risk to other people,
Yeah. So I see it in the same way. Like, I don't think you should just be walking around castrating people, but like you can castrate pedophiles, like it's.
I guess the concern by, like, because I'm basically trying to steel man their argument, right?
Yeah, no,
which is that it's one thing to be against, which I am personally, against all the things Trump's doing. But so some of them will say, well, where were they during COVID? They weren't standing up whenever people were being fired because they didn't want to take a test or because our travel restrictions were, or like I have friends in Australia where they literally had what they called the iron ring around the city, where nobody could leave without checkpoints, like, you know, pretty authoritarian things.
No, but also the COVID mask mandates and everything really weren't that bad.
Yeah, not necessarily mask mandates.
I didn't get vaccinated till they paid me to do it.
So see, and that's kind of thing. People look at it, it's like, well, if it was such a bad situation, why are they having to bribe people with strippers and donuts and money and this and that to do it, you know? Like for some people,
I think that's
like
also
me,
partially, I do think COVID was partially blown out of proportion.
I'm a libertarian myself, but I'm an anarchist libertarian, so I don't vote. I know who Joe Jorgensen is. I have a lot of friends who are in the party and all that. But to me, I believe in bodily autonomy, even controversially with some of my friends on the right who are like, yeah, bodily autonomy, don't force me to get vaccinated. And then I also agree a woman has the right to choose what to do with her body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think that, you know...
Yeah, I agree, downtown. I agree. That is when people should have taken to the streets. But you know why they didn't? Because they have enough trust in government that what if this dangerous thing was out there? And what if we die if we go out there? And what if this time the government is right? There was enough trust in Convid 1984 by George Orwell. There was enough trust in the scientific experts and the political elitists that they wouldn't dare go outside of their house lest they be stricken with the affliction. That's how powerful propaganda is. That's why I hate it. That's why I hate that the Smith-Mundt Act got struck down and was turned into the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act in 2012 by Obama, where the U.S. government has free reign to propagandize their own people now.
Somebody should, you have a right to sell your body for sex if you want, if you to vaccinate or not vaccinate, like clear across the board. Like people should have that bodily autonomy.
There's so many things with like restrictions that end up harming people more than they help them. Like you kind of mentioned with like people being able to sell their bodies. Well, people do it anyways. You're not stopping it. It's gonna happen. But instead of having a boss, instead of a boss, you have a pimp, you know? And like with marijuana, like Texas just recently repealed the little bit of marijuana we could have with the Delta 8 and stuff like that. And I don't see why. Like, it's literally the weaker version of marijuana that is also, like, frankly, even the strong weed is not as bad as alcohol.
Okay, last question. What would you say to somebody who is supportive of Trump's policies, like, and not just like, fuck you, but if you were trying to reach them, you know, in the spirit of like, I really think that the country, as many people think, I wouldn't say we're on the brink of civil war, but we're definitely headed in an increasingly divisive direction. And I don't think that's the answer. So what would you say to somebody who's like, I can't, you know, the people who think that this is just an anti-American rally and it's going to be all violent, like, what's your message to them?
The main message is that Donald Trump is everything you were scared of Obama being.
All right, so let me ask you, that was Derek Bros from the Conscious Resistance. What did you think about Derek Bros' interview style versus Angela Rose interview style? Which one do you think would achieve unity, cooperation, and basically maybe a seeing of eye to eye? And work, maybe which format do you see as working or being more likely to work against the elitists? Because if I was an elitist, I would not want conversations like what we just saw happening out in the streets. I wouldn't want to see antagonism like Angela Rose demonstrated. I would rather see this as an elitist, because then I can work behind the scenes while everybody's attacking each other. The leftists going after the rightists mocking the leftists in the No Kings rally streets. I would way rather have this as an elitist. Now, there were some ones in the room who wanted to see my on the street interview style approach. And we'll just go ahead and take it from the beginning.
In fact, I will say repeal the Second Amendment.
Do you trust the government? And you guys, you know, feel free to criticize me if you think that this isn't the way to do it. You know, let me know too, because, you know, this journey is about learning and growing and adjusting and doing things better and becoming a better person.
In fact, I will say repeal the Second Amendment.
Do you trust the government?
No.
The government can't be trusted. Who's left to control the guns? Don't! Real quick, let me give some shout outs before we go into this. Great. Green Dragon. Yeah, I already read all these, but Green Dragon, William, Green Dragon again for the super chat, sevenfold 777. East Carbon, Green Dragon again. Dang, Green Dragon, you've been killing it. Matthew, Green Dragon again. High Desert Biker. High Desert Biker says 800,000 kids under the age of 5 died from the Iraq War. Man, I think it was more than that. Butch, God is walking on water. Trump said at the last Davos AI conference in Davos, quote, America will be the AI capital of the world. William Eck, you ever seen a protest against red and blue? Nope, never seen that. That's a good point, William. William says, oh yeah, I already read that. And then William says, this kid needs to watch your content ASAP. All right, here we go.
We're part of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We're a queer order of nuns.
By the way, if more super chats come in, I promise you I will read those too.
What guns do you think should be regulated?
Specifically automatic fire weapons.
They've been regulated since the 1930s.
That's fair enough.
That was the National Firearms Act of 1934. And I don't know if you guys know this statistic, but 86% of police chiefs and sheriff's departments are for concealed carry and do not want any further regulations, gun regulations. That's a statistic that if you want to email me, I'll give you all the information from the direct sources.
Okay, I wonder what they think regulations are. I wonder what they're
just saying whatever regulations we have, that's enough. We don't need any more regulations.
What gun laws do you feel like could have been implemented to stop what happened in Vegas?
Obviously, assault weapons. There's no reason to have assault weapons. Laws have changed. Times have changed since the Second Amendment was implemented. And our laws just changed with it.
Okay, do you so you're for gun control?
Oh, by far.
Oh, there's a reverb? What? Are you serious? Let me see.
In fact, I will say repeal the Second Amendment.
Do you trust the government?
Well, but no.
Who should control the guns?
Who should control the guns? I say get rid of all the guns.
Right. Who should be the ones to do
I'll
that?
say repeal
We
the
don't trust the
Second
government. Do you trust the government?
Well, but no.
Who should control the guns?
Who should?
Hold on a second, guys. Has it been reverbing, guys? Let me know. Uh-oh, it won't let me put it in my headphones. I think it's because I already started. It's been reverbing? Holy cow. Yeah, because we're on a live stream, it won't let me revert to my headphones right now. Let's see if I can do this. Let me see here.
The government can't be trusted. Who's left to control the guns?
Is it still am I reverbing? Here, let me see.
Don't! An armed society is a polite society.
Yeah.
Don't! An armed society is a polite society. You know what? It's actually just.
I guess next time I go live, I'll just have it in my ears. I need to get some of those little earbud things.
From my experience, and I know, have you guys ever fired a firearm?
Yes.
A handgun?
I mean, even though they're Democrats, I really like these ladies right here. Like, I just like old people. I like talking to old people. It just they were just so friendly.
Rifle,
Yeah.
AR-15?
No.
Okay. Hey, do you have a desire to?
No.
I mean, I think it's all about education, because I understand why people would be scared of, say, the AR-15. But if you look at the AR-15 and the Ruger Mini 14, it's the same gun. It just looks different. It does same characteristics, same magazine capacity, same bullet. It's a .223. So,
them being in the hands of hormonal teenagers.
Well, they put them in the hands of hormonal teenagers and put them off in the military. So I'm thinking the government's kind of hypocritical to say, oh, let's ban guns from 18 to 21, but let's ship them off to war so they can have one over there.
By the way, I did a little research before I went out there, and I asked a couple questions about what they thought, because people were so scared about assault weapons. And when I would ask the question, what is an assault weapon? What's an assault rifle? What do you mean by that? Nobody, and I mean nobody, I asked it a lot. Nobody could answer that question. So, by the way, this guy is, in case you're just joining us, this guy right here, I did not know when I was interviewing him. This is Sam Brinton. And Sam Brinton was appointed by Joe Biden years after this interview to be the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition and the Office of Nuclear Energy under the Department of Energy, and was later busted for stealing luggage twice, 2 or 3 times at an airport.
Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We're a queer order of nuns.
What the hell did you just say?
We're part of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We're a queer order of nuns that are wearing glitter, wearing something shiny, trying to make today a little bit more peaceful. We recognize there's a lot.
I know, health. I know.
A lot of high emotions out there, and every once in a while, a good conversation with a little bit of glitz makes the world a better place.
Now, I didn't know it at the time, but this is Sam Brinton. He would later go on to be selected by President Joe Biden to be a part of the U.S. Department of Nuclear Energy. This sticky-fingered Department of Energy employee ended up being charged with luggage theft on 3 separate occasions. And then he was terminated from Biden's staff on December 12, 2022. Now, what's really interesting is that the revelation of one of those thefts occurred when Tanzanian fashion designer Astia Thompson was thought to have lost her luggage in March 2018 at the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Washington, D.C., which is exactly where I was conducting this interview. On the same month I was conducting the interview. So I'm wondering if Sam had already stolen that luggage prior to this interview. How that theft happened to be exposed was in February 2023. That fashion designer recognized her custom designed clothing being worn by old Sam in White House photos. After filing a police report in Houston in May of 2023, Brinton's home was searched and he was arrested and charged with grand larceny.
You're wearing a pussy hat, so what does that symbolize?
It's for the Women's March.
Parenting gone wrong, says Reefer Madman. What's up, Reefer?
That's 3 months ago, I believe.
So people should take guns away from other people?
People should take control of their own destiny.
Okay, so my question is, if, let's say Joe Schmo across the street owns an AR-15, you want to physically take his weapons away if he has never hurt anybody?
The law should be in place for the people. The law should be in place so that you should not be able to have that gun.
Laws made by government who we don't trust. That's my disconnect.
The whole thing. You can spin this all you want.
Oh, I'm not trying to spin. I really am trying to figure out, because I don't trust the government either. And I don't know anybody in my circle of friends who trust the government.
But the government is the people. It's up to the people to make the change.
Guys, if you enjoy this content, take a second and hit the subscribe and notification button for all my daily uploads.
Do you think people...
The government, think about that. The government is the people. Really? Well, what if some of those people vote for Joe Biden, but I don't want Joe Biden to be the president? That's not, I'm people, I'm a person, and I'm not that. What if the government wants to take, what if the people, what if 15% of the people or 51% of the people want to take away guns from everybody else? Well, I'm the people and I don't want my guns taken from me. This of the people, by the people, for the people is just nonsense. A government of the people, by, if government is truly slavery, then you're saying slavery is of the people. That makes no sense at all. What if I don't want to be a slave? What if I don't want to stay on the plantation? God is walking on water says, off topic question. Do you think Trump will get America into war with Venezuela? Or he's already got 10,000 boots on the ground. He's already stationed 10% of the U.S. naval forces off the coast of Venezuela. So there could be a war going on right now that we just don't know about. There's constantly wars going on, whether we've announced an armed conflict or not. For example, in the first 4 years of Donald Trump's administration, he dropped an average of 46 bombs every single day of his presidency. Whether you want to call whether there was a declaration of war in his first term or not, he was launching wars against people. No matter what terminology you want to label that, I would say dropping a bomb on a village, blowing up dozens and dozens of people is an act of war. I would say sanctions are an act of war. There's always wars going on everywhere, whether we're aware of them or not.
People should be allowed to have increasingly warlike weapons. Should they be allowed to have tanks in their yards? Should they be shooting ballistic missiles? Should they be able to have nuclear warheads?
That's a really good question, and I would say to be consistent with individual liberties. And you're going to think I'm crazy, and I hate to even say it, but they can have. I know. But you know what? I feel free to talk to you guys because it's not combative. If we walk away disagreeing.
I just loved this interaction because there was even though we completely disagree, we're on two sides of this spectrum called politics. We still had this open communication. There were smiles. There were dropped barriers that, I would reach out and I would hug them, like they were my grandmother or something. And it was just a ton of goodwill. Whether they walked away with their mind changed or not, I know what I did. I planted a seed and I left a feeling of goodwill, at least in their hearts. I'm not their, seriously, guys, I am not their enemy. I'm not anybody's enemy. I want you just as free as I want to be, because I know if you're free and you're enjoying your freedom, that benefits me. If I'm free and I'm enjoying my freedom and I'm spending money in the free market, that benefits you. We don't need political parasitic puppets sucking off of our time and laboring energies.
You know what? To me, building a relationship is way more important than being right. I have my opinions. You guys have your opinions. But if a guy can afford a tank and wants to put it in his front yard, I don't think the homeowners association will go along with that. But and what's he going to do? What's he going to do with it? What guns do you think should be regulated?
Specifically automatic fire weapons.
They've been regulated since the 1930s.
That's fair enough. Assault rifles, mainly AR-15s, are a problem.
How do you define an assault rifle?
Assault rifle is a weapon that is, trying to remember, it has a magazine of over 15 rounds and typically semi-automatic in civilian standards.
Okay, would you call a Ruger Mini 14 an assault rifle?
Ruger Mini 14.
It's got a wood stock and a black barrel, and it looks kind of like.
Guys, I got to tell you, I don't hate these people. They may be my enemies, but I'm not theirs. So when somebody says they're against an assault rifle, they're just regurgitating. They're acting out their indoctrination program. They have no idea what they're talking about when they're saying, I want assault rifles banned. They don't know what they're saying.
A hunting rifle, would you be against that?
For a collector, no, I wouldn't be against that, no.
If there's a problem, how is throwing government at it going to create a solution?
Don't!
Who should do the regulating?
See, that's where the issue comes in.
Where do you land on this whole issue, the March for Our Lives?
Marching for Our Lives is this great moment where we get to watch those who are younger than us and who...
Oh, I said something backwards. What did I say backwards?
Are in more fear than I think a lot of us are, recognizing that it's their time. That's a really beautiful moment. That's a really beautiful moment.
When you're old ass parents, like, I don't know how to send an iMessage, and you're just like, give me the fucking phone, and you take it and you're like, okay, let me handle it, and you get it done in 1 second. Sadly, that's what we have to do with our government, because our parents don't know how to use a fucking democracy, so we have to.
That's a really beautiful moment.
The reason
that right there with David Hogg, that tells me all I need to know about his character. This is the kind of kid this really is. And he's the one, or one of the ones, that spearheaded the campaign for a march against our rights called March for Our Lives.
And you get it done in 1 second. Sadly, that's what we have to do with our government, because our parents don't know how to use a fucking democracy, so we have to.
That's a really beautiful moment.
The reason I asked you who should regulate is because a lot of people I've talked to today said that they don't trust the government, but they want the government to make the laws. So if you don't trust the people who are going to make the laws, what's the march for? You could potentially have 500,000 to 2 million people watching you in the next week. What would you say to people who own AR-15s out there? Would you say, hey, you need to give up your weapons, give them up now?
Well, let's see. We've tried desperately for years to do sensible gun laws, right? So I'm to the point of repeal the Second Amendment. Take it all away.
Ban all guns.
away. And if you don't like that, do something about it. The people that are owning the guns, and they're like, well, that's not going to work. All right, give me your answer. What's your answer?
What would you say that 200,000 women last year who used guns to protect themselves from being harmed or raped? Yeah, here's my thing though. I want everybody to, I want people just to be free, you know? Because if we're free, then we're also free to defend ourselves. One of those statistics.
But that assumes that people are able to handle their freedom.
Yeah, autonomy is a dangerous thing.
Yes.
But you know what else Benjamin Franklin said? He said, I'd rather have dangerous freedom than peaceful slavery. And I think that's where I fall, you know? Dangerous freedom or peaceful slavery. I don't want somebody telling me what to do.
There's something in between there.
Well, I can give you the facts. Here's a CDC statistic.
There's more women that are killed by guns than they're protected by guns.
Actually, no, there's only 38,000 people who die a year from guns, and 67% of those are suicides.
I work for a suicide prevention hotline. There's a really, really important recognition that gun access is a really big problem for suicide as well. And so let's figure out ways that we can serve mental health systems in our country that actually help people versus hurt them.
I've heard a statistic, and because you're in the field, maybe you know the answer to this. Of the 30,000 that die every year, is it true that 65 to 70% are suicide?
It's 70%. Yeah, about 70% of them are suicides. And that means that this is usually people who are taking their own lives and hurting others.
Now, I want to say this, and I want to say it very carefully. If you're not free to do whatever you want with your own life, you're not free in America. Am I advocating, no, I'm not. But whatever you want, it's your body. Do whatever you want to with your own body. Nobody's got a right to tell you what you can or can't do with it. And when you do that, and you just happen to do it with a personal protection device, nobody's got the right to infringe on somebody else's rights because somebody else did something with the gun that they don't like. Period.
Process, of course, but we're not talking about them because they're not necessarily in a schoolroom.
What do you think?
No, I agree. And when I was out there interviewing Saya Girl, I was trying to look beyond that, and it was kind of difficult.
Criminals think about further gun restrictions.
What do I think about criminals?
What do you think criminals think about further gun restrictions? Would they be for them or against them?
Okay, well, let's look at all the criminals. Why are they in jail?
What do you think criminals think about further background checks and stricter gun laws?
What do I think criminals think about further background checks? I think criminals are going to have access to weapons whether we want them to or not. That doesn't mean we don't try. That's the easy way.
So that means, by omission, that means the laws that these are going to apply to are the law-abiding citizens, right?
In general, yes. Yeah, and that's not a problem.
I wanted to kind of get back to our original conversation with the CDC actually put out a thing in 2013 under Obama that said that 500,000 to 3 million times a year people use guns for defensive measures to protect the lives of innocent people. And if only 30,000 people die from gun violence, but 500,000 people are saved, wouldn't we want guns?
I still actually don't understand where you get your information from.
CDC.com. It's right from their own website. If you want, after this conversation,
okay, I'll look it up. Okay.
What if let's just say it's true? Wouldn't you want guns to say?
Information I've heard, which is, it's actually, okay, so you say you want to arm teachers, right?
Me? Oh, if they want to be armed, I think people should be allowed to do whatever they want.
More guns into the schools, because everybody's against that.
Well, let's go down to brass tacks. Let's say you're in a classroom and you're a teacher and a gunman's coming down the hallway and you're next. Would you rather have a gun, a piece of paper, an extra law, thankful for gun-free zones? What would you like?
Well, let's fix it before it gets to that point.
But let's say you're in that situation.
Because look at Ronald Reagan. He was surrounded by Secret Service.
See, right here, she wasn't willing to be honest with the conversation because you have to say, if you're being honest and you're not insane, if you're in a classroom or in a post office or a bank and a gunman walks in shooting everybody up, what do you want? Do you want a written law in your hand to protect yourself? You can't do this because it's against the law. This is a gun-free zone. Do you want a gun-free zone sign in your hand? Maybe you want a cell phone in your hand so you can call 911? Or do you want a personal protection device in your hand and already have the knowledge on how to use it so you can take down the attacker before the attacker takes you down? This is a very simple question that demands an honest answer. And if a person is not willing to have that honest conversation, it shows. And when you have conversations like this, it's clearly on the table that she's not willing to say, oh, yeah, in this situation, it might be a good idea to have a personal protection device.
Guns everywhere, but he still got shot.
Yeah, it can still happen, huh?
Yeah, it can still happen.
But wouldn't you want a fighting?
Fix the gun laws.
But wouldn't you want a fighting chance? Do you own a gun?
No, I've shot guns.
If somebody came into your house and they were armed, would you want to protect yourself with a gun?
Well, let's get the guns off the streets, and maybe that will never happen.
Well, what if they did? Come on, be honest. You'd want something to empower yourself, right?
Huh? I could still take them with my bare hand.
With a gun? They have a gun? Yeah. So it's safe to say.
See the smile? Do you see the smile? I want to point something out to you. First of all, she knew what she was saying was ridiculous. If a guy comes into your house with a gun, I think I could take him. You don't bring fists to a gunfight. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You don't bring a water pitcher or a water jug to a gunfight. You bring a gun to a gunfight so you can have a fighting chance. But did you notice she smiled? Because number one, I believe that behind that smile was she realized just how ridiculous her argument was. And number two, I feel like the barrier dropped just a little bit more. And that seed, whether she could help it or not, I flung the seed inside of her heart and it was planted. Whether it ever germinates or not, I don't have any control over that. But I can have control over trying to drop some barriers so I can plant some freedom seeds.
Do you own a gun?
No, I've shot
Now
guns.
watch her. I don't think it was duping delight. I think it was a realization. I think it was a moment of realization and guard dropping.
If somebody came into your house and they were armed, would you want to protect yourself with a gun?
Well, let's get the guns off the streets, and maybe that will never happen.
Well, what if they did? Come on, be honest. You'd want something to empower yourself, right?
Huh? I could still take them with my bare hand.
Yeah, she realized how ridiculous that statement was.
Gun? They have a gun? So it's safe to say you.
That's Pirate. That was very, very good. Very good.
You are for gun control.
I am for gun control.
And who do you want to control the guns?
That's a great point.
There are more. Okay, so say you have a gun in your house.
Even Sam, man. Listen to Sam.
Gun? Yeah. So it's safe to say you are for gun control.
I am for gun control.
And who do you want to control the guns?
That's a great point.
There are more. Okay, so say you have a gun in your house. Okay, you're more likely to have an accident where somebody gets killed inadvertently than you are to be able to defend off somebody.
You know, there's a founding father that said, I'd rather have dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. Do you agree with that? Because freedom is dangerous, you got to admit. There's a lot of crazy people out there.
Oh, yeah.
So here's how I see it. I don't think anybody has a higher claim over your life or her life than you guys do. And I don't think anybody has a higher claim over my life than I do. So I don't want somebody to make a law for me. I don't want to make a law for you. I don't want to tell you what to do. Is that fair?
No, it's not fair.
Do you think there's anybody who has a higher claim over your life and property than you?
I would like to think not.
Do you? She brought you into this world so she could take you out.
Oh, yeah. And she said just the same.
But generally speaking, nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you,
I'd
right?
like to think not, no.
Okay, so is it ever okay to initiate unjust force or violence on somebody who hasn't done anything wrong?
No.
Then when these people are marching to create a law that's going to make a law-abiding citizen a criminal, they're actually doing the exact thing that you and I wouldn't do to somebody else, only on a large scale. So the reason I'm out here is to try to inject a little bit of common sense and logic into this equation, because when you make a law, all laws are backed by the threat of force. If you don't obey the government's law, men with guns will come to your house. Yes. So basically, in the name of gun violence, they're asking government to use gun violence to get rid of guns. Does that make sense?
Not really. It's a little convoluted, honestly.
It's very convoluted. So we're out here to try to get people to just think about what they're asking for and who they're asking it from.
Hey, thanks for. So that was my man on the street interview. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think this method is better? Do you think the Angela Rose method is better, where she's just mocking the people who are clearly against her when they're really fighting for the same team owners in this left versus right paradigm lie nonsense? Guys, I appreciate you. Let me see if I missed any super chats. I believe almost all mass pew-pews are psyops. It depends on what you mean by that. Like, are people not getting killed in those? I don't think the government has any problem knocking people off. So thanks guys. I appreciate the super chats. If you would just take a second right now and like this video and share this video with everybody you know, it really, really helps with the algorithm. Thank you guys for stopping by. You know, I say this almost every time when I end a video, but the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. You got to stay up on this. You got to stay awake. You got to stay alert, because there's always going to be some elitist psychopath who thinks he's better than you. And he's going to want an army, a military, a government behind him doing his bidding. And they want to take your rights away, because this is about transferring two things: power and wealth. And when you give up your rights, or what people perceive as rights, if you put your freedom on the back burner and you give up your rights and just submit and give your papers and do what they say and go here, and you constantly are obeying, then you're conditioning them to continue oppressing you, and you're conditioning yourself and everybody in your zone of influence to continue to accept the oppression. And I don't think that's a good way to live. I think if we want to stop totalitarianism, we got to stop totalitarianism by stopping being bad people voting for psychopathic political parasites who constantly want to take from our time and laboring energies. So like this video, share this video with everybody you know if you want. If you think it's of value, subscribe to this channel. I've got some more videos coming up that I really want you to take a look at. None of us is greater than all of us. No one person has all the answers, but if we can all pool our thoughts, and we can change our society, man. We can make America a freer place, and we can actually be a beacon on the hill. So that's my goal. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.